Hi guys, so as you know, I've been playing a lot of Prey recently, and now that we're about 4 or 5 hours in now, I thought it might be nice to share my initial thoughts of the game so far. So just before we start, just a heads up, there may be some spoilers, so if you are starting a playthrough or in the middle of one, you may want to give this video a miss, so that's just a heads up. Okay, so let's start off nice and quick. Let's start off with the visuals. So overall, I think there's nothing amazing as of yet, despite the fact that they are using the CryEngine, which we all know is a very good engine. I don't know if it's a bit outdated. I'm not that good with all those types of things. It's quite similar to Fallout 4, I'd say, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I think Fallout is nearly a year and a half ish now, and so maybe that, I don't know if that's good or bad for some people. The LOD, so the far distant terrain, I mentioned this in the first episode, I think, and I was just a bit disappointed, but I suppose we were at that point in the game, we were in a simulation, so I don't know if that was intentional or not. But when we went to Out of Space last episode, I think that you've had, I wasn't that impressed with the outer space visuals. You know, I thought they had some like galaxies or something, you know, just to make it that probably not realistic, but you know what I mean, make it look good. But on the other hand, good anti-aliasing. I always find this with Bethesda games. I don't know why. I always find the anti-aliasing, so the shimmer that you get, you don't tend to notice it that much. I don't know. That could be just me. But overall, good, acceptable graphics, I think. But nothing special as of yet. But we shall wait and see. Okay, moving on to gameplay. So obviously there's a lot of RPG elements, the looting, etc. It's quite basic, nothing on kind of Fallout's level, but it is nice that they've incorporated this breaking down of materials with the grenade and the the fabricator. So that's quite nice. I'm glad it's nice that they've incorporated that. I like the sneak mechanics. I like this variety. There's more places where you can hide. I haven't really utilized it that well at the moment. Still not quite sure how to use it, but obviously you can hide under things, you can crawl. It's quite interesting the ways you can hide, and there's always like little areas, there's pipes and stuff you can hide in, and stuff like that. And you can also use distraction tactics, and you can creatively kill. Like I remember when I threw the explosive barrel down, exploded, so that kind of thing's nice. There's still, we're not that far in, so there hasn't been that many other things, but you can use like the environment, the electric, if some like broken pipes, electrocution and stuff like that, so that's really interesting. I like how the perks allow you to traverse and get to different places. So if you have like leverage for example, you can move some suitcases or something quite heavy, so you can get through that way, which you wouldn't otherwise be able to get to. So that's quite nice. And I think the glue gun is a really good example of this. I think because you can like when we do our Mario jumping, you can you use it to get to places, which is really interesting. And a lot of weapons tend to do this. They have more than one purpose, which I think is really something for me that's quite refreshing. That yes, it's used as a weapon, but it's also used in another manner, like the stun gun that's used to, you can hack things and do stuff like that to turn off security and things like that, as well as stun them. Yeah, so that's really good. And the recycler is used to recycle materials, but you can use it to kill the aliens as well, which is interesting. I also like there's like little small puzzles, kind of Easter eggs, but not really. And there's like secret compartments where we saw Dr. Calvino's drink cup that opened one of the safes. So those kind of things, if you're paying attention, you can, and you just think, oh, what have I missed now? I've probably missed something as well, which I really quite like. So aliens, the monsters themselves, I think they've been thought out well. They're nice, I love how the mimics, they interact with the environment, the fact they can morph into objects, and I just find them, it's always like surprising. Oh my god, where'd that come from? I really like that, and it's always surprising, and I always find it really fun to chase around. It's like, okay, what wasn't in this room before? Now I can know how to shoot. And it's great how like you get a critical hit if you hit them when they're hidden, which I think is really, really, really awesome. Okay, I like how the enemies, so there's like a big variety, a vast difference between the phantoms and the mimics. Like the phantoms really are powerful. Like the mimics you can crush and kill pretty quickly, but the phantoms, you don't want to take them on with a wrench, put it that way. But there isn't. One thing I don't like is that there isn't much variety in the aliens model and mesh as of yet. You didn't see it. The episode that I recorded that went wrong, there was another type of alien, and he could duplicate himself, but he looked exactly like a phantom. So I don't know whether that's going to happen a lot, but so far it has, but hopefully that changes. One thing, this is kind of a bug, I think, I don't know if anybody else thinks this, is the phantom sounds. You know, the sounds of the phantom, they're just really loud, and far too loud, and like you can't hear, like you can hear where they are, like, but because they're so loud, you can't hear what direction they're in. It's like their sound just fills the whole space, which I don't know if that was intentional or not, but yeah, I personally think it's a bug. And story, let's get to the story. I haven't got much on this because, I mean, we're only 5 hours in, so I think it's interesting so far. There's a lot of reading. I think if you don't read the books that are there, I think you miss a lot of the story, and a lot of things wouldn't make sense, but I mean, that's kind of part of an RPG, isn't it? But yeah, I don't know how I feel about that yet. But I did love the plot twist at the start. At the very start, I really wasn't expecting that to happen, so I thought that was really cool. I mean, those of you who've played the old Prey, you'd have kind of like, oh yeah, they've done this before, but I don't know. I really quite enjoyed that. But nothing really much else to say in the story. I mean, we've only really scratched the surface, so we'll have to wait and see as we get further on into the playthrough. So that's kind of it. That was my initial thoughts on Prey as of yet. So I hope you enjoyed them. Please leave a comment in the Please leave a comment down below of your thoughts on the game. That would be really interesting to hear what you think. And I shall see you next time. Okay, thanks guys. Bye.